In this video, you're gonna learn 5 common mistakes what a lot of house music producers do. Make sure you watch this whole video from the beginning until the end, so you're not making any of the mistakes yourself. Common mistake number 1. Putting the reverb on the same channel as the instrument. So we have this beautiful string sample. What most music producers do now is just to go on the channel and put a reverb on the same channel as the string is playing on, like this. Even though this technique is quite good, the problem is that you don't have that much control over the reverb. So for example, if you want to cut away now the highs and the lows from the reverb, when you do a high pass low pass filter, you're also cutting away the lows from the instrument, which is not what you want. If you want to add saturation just to the reverb, you cannot do this because you're also saturating the main instrument, or if you want to use a compression or whatever effect you want to do. Instead of putting the reverb on the same channel as the instrument, you assign an auxiliary channel. An auxiliary channel is an extra channel, so you assign it with a bit of volume, like this. And then on the channel, you put a reverb with 100% wet. In this case, this is Valhalla Supermassive. It's important that you have it on 100% wet. And then you can play a little bit with the delay, obviously the feedback time. And the good thing is now you can control the reverb independently. You can add a high pass low pass filter, filter a few frequencies more in detail. You can add a compressor or any other effect. And like this, you have more control over this whole reverb. The second mistake a lot of music producers are making is that they are just cutting the lows from each instrument, but they're not cutting the highs. Let's say we have the same string loop again. Usually what people do is that they just cut the lows here to create more clarity for the mix. But what I can recommend you to do is to cut away a lot from the highs as well. The reason why we're cutting the highs from this instrument, for example the strings or any other element, is because we want to create more space for the hi-hats to punch through, to have this shiny low end for the hi-hats. As you can hear, the frequency information up here is absolutely unnecessary. You can't really hear it and it doesn't really make a big difference. By the way, if you are now interested in learning house music production more in detail, I'm offering one-on-one coaching sessions with all the people who want to know more about house music production, tech house, mixing, mastering, music theory, whatever you want to improve on, because I can imagine that it's quite difficult to watch all the YouTube tutorials and try to improve as much as possible, but the progress is really slow and you need someone who actually can guide you through the whole process, who's done this himself. And that's exactly why I'm offering those one-on-one coaching sessions. To know more about this, go in the link in the description and message me private over Instagram. We can talk a little bit about your goals and see exactly what we can do and how I can help you with achieving your next music production career goals. This is exactly the space we need for the hi-hats, and you could literally cut it away and it wouldn't even make a big difference in the whole mix. Please make sure if you have elements like this to not cut away too much, not cut away the body of this whole element, but this is pretty much 13 to 15k is what you can cut away. And if you do this, you can actually create more clarity in your mix and make the hi-hats and stuff like that punch through more. The third common mistake so a lot of house music producers make is that they're not starting their productions with a template. You can obviously start now each single project with nothing in the playlist, no channels assigned, nothing in the mixer channel, no plugins in here, and you can load up every single one of them because you think it's more creative. But I have to tell you, wasting heaps of time by looking for samples, looking for the right mixing plugins, assigning all the channels. This is something you can do before you start producing. And if you're building yourself a good template, you're saving yourself heaps of time by not having to look up for all the plugins yourself. You can actually focus on producing music. That's exactly why I created this specific David Fritz producer template, where all the channels are already assigned with vocal automation 1 and 2, bass, drums, ear candy, riser, downfall, automation, all this kind of stuff, even master automation installed, high pass, low pass filters. And on the mixer channel, I have 50 channels assigned with ready to go mixing chains, with high pass, low pass filters already installed. All the auxiliary channels are already there. We have pretty much my vocal chains here as well. To get this specific template, go on tunebed.com. The link for that is in the description. You can purchase this template for under $10 and you're going to save yourself heaps of time. It just makes it really easy to produce music and you're not wasting your time by looking out for specific plugins. So definitely purchase this template right now. The fourth common mistake a lot of house music producers do is to not sidechain the kick to a lot of very dominant elements. What I'm talking about specifically is, for example, that in house music, the kick is one of the most important elements. And if you have synth playing, vocals, and a lot of elements like reverb and stuff like that, the kick is gonna be lost in this mix. That's exactly why we have this kick on channel 5, and you can see it goes to the drum reverb with 0% volume. It goes to the high instrument bus with 0% volume. It goes on the reverb bus with 0% volume, and so on to the vocals as well. And on all of those channels, I have a free limiter installed with a compression setting here on the right side, and then here assigned to the kick. And now every single time the kick is playing, it's going to punch through the whole mix and it's going to duck the volume down from all of those elements which are very dominant as well. Make sure you don't do it too much, just a little bit, to
yeah, to make it more clear. In this case, you can see that the vocals are ducking down every single time the kick is playing, just a little bit to make the kick punch through a bit better. If you do too much, you're gonna lose the vocals a lot in the mix. By the way, if you haven't liked this video yet, please make sure you do this right now under this video and subscribe to my channel to not miss out any tech house production tutorials in the future. The fifth common mistake a lot of house music producers make is that they're not sidechaining the reverb to the vocals. So we had the example before. We had the vocals here and we assigned it to an auxiliary channel, which is in this case a short reverb for the vocal. And on the reverb channel, we have here a reverb with 100% wet mix, but then what we put after the reverb is this fruity limiter here. And then what we do with this one here, we press again on compression section here, then go on sidechain, double click and assign it to the vocals. Let's say it's vocal 1. So now every single time the vocals are playing, the volume of the reverb is ducking down. Like this.
I don't wanna talk no more. I don't wanna talk. I just wanna hit the floor. I don't wanna talk. I don't wanna talk no more.
Which creates again way more clarity for your mixes because your vocals are more clear in the mix and they're not like getting lost between all the reverb. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I see you in the next video.